Hey, I'm Alex, and Gear for Music have invited me here today to talk about the brand new Take 5 module version, which I'm very excited to show you. Yeah, it's the Take 5 as we know and love it, but you might have noticed it's missing something. There's no keys. It's just a module, so it fits really nicely on a tabletop, and if you've got quite a few synths going on in the studio already, it'll fit really nicely in at home with them. You can plug a keyboard into it or a sequencer into it, however you like. Of course, it's a little bit more portable if you're gigging as well. Yeah, it just comes in a really nice low profile form factor. So yeah, you asked for it and here it is. We're gonna get stuck in and kind of find our way around the synth, but I want to start off by, yeah, surfing through a few presets and see what this thing can do. So let's have some fun. Right, so we can get pretty weird pretty quickly. That was a fun little patch that's already built in there. That's called Analog FM. Let's start now. Let's just start from scratch, as is always a good place to be. And I'm going to put us on a blank patch. How do we do that? Oh, we want to be in the global menu, don't we? We want to go to Basic Program. Here's where the fun happens, and we've got ourselves a very nice normal raw tones. So let's have a go through from the oscillator section through the synth. So we're going to start off here on the left. Let's obviously we've got oscillator switches, which is really nice. And then we can also tune up and down by a fifth, I think, from the pitch knob as well. Sticking with the raw oscillators before we get too crazy with the filter, let's have a go with this shape mod. Now we can go yeah, all the way from a sine to like a tiny little pulse going on via the sawtooth. So yeah, let's hear some of that as well. And of course, we can also sync the first oscillator to the second, so let's bring both of those in. It goes pretty crazy. Just the raw power of those oscillators, yeah, a lot of fun to be had with that. And of course, there's a couple of them in there, so you can have a lot of fun with that. And not just two oscillators, of course. The third, we've got a sub-oscillator underneath the first, but 5 voices. That's why we call it the Take 5. So, yeah, let's move on. We've been having some fun with the oscillators so far. We're going to dive in now to the mixer section, and yeah, I mean, well, that's pretty self-explanatory. Not too much to talk about here, but of course we do have some nice noise generator, which we can use that a bit later to demo some of the effects and some of the filtering and stuff. But yeah, let's turn on the FM switch on the Take 5 here as well. I'm going to take sync off for this, and we're going to frequency modulate the second oscillator into the first, which should be a bit weird. Okay. Yeah, crazy. I mean, that's all just staying on one key there as well. If we want to move around all over the place, we can have a lot of fun with that. Yeah, absolutely bananas. Yeah, might recommend working in unison for that. So with unison, we can stack up to 5 voices all at once. Let's hear that in action. Why don't we start about here? Yeah, pretty fat, pretty huge. And of course, if we dial in the vintage knob on this, we'll get some really interesting results as well. What vintage does is it just starts to loosen up the oscillator frequencies, the filter cutoffs, the amp envelope, and yeah, and all the envelope stages actually. So everything starts to get a bit loose, like the old vintage synthesizers that we know and love. We dial that in with the vintage knob here. By the way, you can tell this is brand new, straight out of the box, because all the dials are set to 0, except for the ones I've just moved in front of you there. So yeah, lots of fun. Let's dial in the vintage sound now on one voice. Just gets a little bit. Oh, it's also had the mod wheel on, which didn't help. A little bit chorusy, a little bit mental. And if we had that like with like an envelope over the top of it and arpeggiating, yeah, we get all sorts of crazy sounds going on as well. So I've derailed myself. We were talking about unison. Let's go over to this filter, this beautiful sort of Prophet-esque filter. It's a low pass filter, of course. You could really just hang on to that filter for hours. It's so much fun to be had. Yeah, let's go a little bit. Let's have a bit more with that. Let's throw in a bit more, little bit more going on with the oscillators. We'll throw in a sub. And we can throw in a bit of drive under that filter as well. Crazy. Of course, the filter dial being right in the middle, the most important thing. Really, well, one of the most effective parts of the synthesizer. So we've moved our way through the oscillators, through the mixer, through the filter section. There's some interesting things you can do with this filter as well. Like, yeah, I think in a firmware update there was added that you can bypass the filter as well. So you can bypass the filter with the second oscillator. So you get some really weird yeah, tones going on out of that. Let's just see where oscillator 2 filter bypass, throw that on, and then, yeah, that oscillator 2 is not going to listen to the filter whatsoever. Yeah, really interesting sounds out of that. So, yeah, we've looked a little bit at the filter. Moving on through to the envelope stage. Yeah, it's an interesting layout for the envelope. So you've got either an amp envelope and a filter envelope, pretty standard. You've got the filter and amp working as one envelope, which is our second envelope here. And then you've got like this auxiliary envelope as well, which you can plug in and mod to whatever you want. And then there's the filter and gate setting as well, which is where we don't have an amp envelope. It's just gate on, gate off, and then pair that with the auxiliary envelope. So yeah, so you can get quite a few different options there. You can get kind of creative with it. With the auxiliary envelope, just to talk about routing on this thing, the way the mod matrix is designed couldn't make it any easier to patch things in, right? So if we want to get, I don't know, the auxiliary envelope patched to, let's say, oscillator, let's say the frequency of oscillator 1. Yeah, we'll do the frequency of oscillator 1. All we've got to do is hold the source button, just twist one of the dials on the thing that we want the mod source to be. In this case, the first envelope. We press the destination button and then twist one of the dials on the thing that we want to modulate the destination, so in this case the pitch, and then yeah, we can just dial up the value from there. So let's try out how that sounds. We'll actually make the envelope kind of do its thing now a little bit as well. We'll put in a bit of decay. We'll make it a bit quicker. I think maybe if we sync that, will make a bit more sense. Maybe if we FM it, I mean. No, it's not making as much sense. But we've got the modulation matrix, making it really easy to pair up, sources and the destinations. Just like that, it's just hold the button that you want to, be the source, and then hold the button that you want to be the destination. and it's as easy as that. So yeah, that's kind of the basic layout of the bottom row. We've talked a little bit about what's going on there, and yeah, if we look across the top, we've got some really cool things going on with the LFOs, right? There's two LFOs on this thing. So one of them is mono, and one of them is poly, which is per voice basically. So every time we trigger a mono LFO, it's just going to be one LFO, regardless of how many voices we're using and when those voices were triggered. Let's hear that in action. So I'll bring us back down to earth a little bit on a basic program, and I'm just going to have a chord. Yeah, let's. So we've got our filter dialed in, and yeah, and now we're going to get the LFOs to modulate the filter frequency, and we're going to hear the difference between mono modulation and poly modulation as well. So let's try this out. I'm going to go to the LFO stage. I'm going to press source. Sorry, no. What I'm going to do is I'm going to select which LFO I'm using. So I'm going to start with LFO 1, and the destination is going to be the cutoff of the frequency, and then we're going to set the amount to about, I don't know, whatever that one is, 83, and then I'm going to dial in the frequency. Okay, so that's what mono LFO modulation sounds like. I'm going to do exactly the same thing on LFO 2 now. I'm going to set the same frequency and to the same amount, and the destination, also the cutoff. Now, hear the difference. I'm just going to turn the modulation off from the first LFO. Hear the difference now when I press each of these keys individually. Yeah, it gets really weird different sounds out of it. What's going on there is every time we trigger a voice, there's an LFO per voice, and that LFO is going to sort of move differently. So it's not all going to be locked. You know, just to show you the difference, we go back to the first LFO and have the same thing. It's just depending, regardless of when I trigger the voices, it's always going to be one LFO. There we go. So that's mono versus poly modulation on the LFOs. I think I just want to kind of round off now by having a look. I mean, we haven't even touched the effects. There's go on, let's have a quick look at the effects. We'll go and dive in here. We've got we've got several different types of delays. We've got delay, standard like digital sort of delay, and then a Bucket Brigade-esque delay. We've got tape delay as well. The tape delay is great fun actually. Let's throw that in. So if I, do the old throw the feedback all the way up and the depth in as well. That's just delaying infinitely. Now if I pull the time up on that. Throw a drum beat under that, you're having some fun. Yeah, crazy. Crazy sounds to be had on the tape delay. There's a couple of different types of tape delay on there as well. We've got chorus, flanger, and phaser, as one might expect. There's also a high-pass filter that you can use to do interesting things when it's paired up with the low-pass filter on there as well. Distortion, rotating speaker effect, which is, stereo critical. It's really nice to, kind of throw the sound around all over the place. And a lo-fi simulator as well, so it kind of gets that kind of vinyl crackle on it as well. Oh, I've still got some crazy modulation going on. Let's chill that out for a second. It's a really fun effect now. Basically, the parameters are like you're on an old melted record, right? And the parameter is time, which is the RPM of that record. And then there's the depth, which is like just how melted the record is, like just that little dip that comes around once every rotation. And then there's the misc knob. In this case, is like drive. It's just how dusty that record is. Which is actually really fun just to use, like, you know, just as a drive. So we could turn the depth right down. So yeah, there's lots to be said on the effects as well. Just to round this off, I'm gonna surf around a few different presets and patches and just kind of have some fun with it, see what's going on. So yeah, let's dive in. What we got going on? What is everything bagel? I don't know what to do with this preset, I don't think. Now, if I ever want to know what the patch designer's intention was with that preset, we've got a sequencer built in, which they've written a bespoke sequence for that patch. So if I press play, we'll hear that and understand how the patch was intended to be played. It's a 64-step sequencer with rests and ties, as you might be able to tell. Everything bagel, that's a fun preset. Let's see what else we got in here. I'm going to go to bank 7. We've just done a sort of bassy sound. What's Nerd Wave Radio about? I feel like it's trying to tell me something. Wild. Okay. What else have we got on here? That was Nerd Wave Radio. Let's go to bank 11. Felt Gamelan. What's that going to be all about? That's it. We're in the opening scenes now, or the closing credits. All right. Yeah, this is fun. I'm just gonna fiddle around with this a little bit more. I don't know where we're going. It's all right. This is a very soothing patch. Wow, okay. That was an interesting place to land. Yeah, that was great fun. Thanks very much for tuning in. We've got the Take 5. It's now available as a module. So go over to Gear for Music to check it out. And yeah, thanks for tuning in as always.